it didn't start with an announcement. It started with whispers, hushed conversations, insider tips, and vague mentions in tabloid gossip columns. Then came a leak. Subtle at first, but enough to ignite curiosity. And before the weekend was even over, the whole royal narrative had erupted into full-blown chaos. What began as speculation quickly solidified into something more ominous. Prince Harry, the monarchy's once beloved wildcard, was seriously considering the unthinkable. Not a new charity, not a tell-all memoir, but a legal public break from his royal lineage by dropping the name Mountbatten-Windsor altogether. His replacement? One name: Spencer. Not a simple rebranding. This was a declaration, a symbolic detonation, an unambiguous rejection of the bloodline he was born into. The royal name wasn't just part of his identity, it was a tether to the crown, the very institution that, depending on who you ask, either nurtured or neglected him. By changing his name, Harry wasn't just walking away, he was slamming the door shut. For some observers, this dramatic shift felt like a heartfelt tribute to the woman who shaped him most, his mother, Princess Diana. Spencer was her name, her history, her legacy. It was romantic, even poetic. But for many others, it felt cold, calculated, a final stab in the already battered heart of the monarchy. As reported by the Mail on Sunday, Harry had privately reached out to his uncle, Earl Spencer, for advice. Diana's brother, the same man, who stood before the world at her funeral and vowed to protect her boys. It could have been a touching, full-circle moment, a son returning to his maternal roots. But the real chaos began not with the conversation itself, but with the leak. A leak, it turns out, from someone within Harry's own inner circle. Revelation immediately sparked speculation. Was this leak intentional? Was Harry once again playing the media he claims to loathe in order to stir outrage or sympathy, or both? Was this a genuine crisis of identity, or just another weapon in his drawn-out battle with the institution that raised him? And then came the context that made it impossible to ignore. King Charles, his father, is fighting cancer. The man who has barely had time to settle into the throne is now engaged in a deeply personal war for his health. The palace is stretched thin, emotionally and politically. And amid this already painful chapter, Harry chooses this moment to suggest erasing his family name. It wasn't just a PR disaster, it was perceived as a betrayal of the highest order. Commentators didn't mince words. Some called it a premeditated strike. Others labeled it emotional cruelty. One particularly outraged voice referred to it as symbolic warfare, and the target wasn't just the crown, it was Charles. And in many ways, it was personal. And yet, amid all the chaos, Meghan Markle's name kept resurfacing. Not in official reports, not in Harry's statements, but in the subtext. Because for all of Harry's controversial moves, Meghan is never far behind. Where does Meghan fit in this narrative? At the center, whether intentionally or not. If there's one thing Meghan Markle has fiercely protected, it's her title, the Duchess of Sussex. It's more than just a name, it's a brand, a symbol, a tool for influence in an industry that thrives on status. She's corrected interviewers who slipped and used her maiden name. She's signed personal notes with her full title. And according to multiple insiders, even her closest contacts are addressed formally. For Meghan, the title is currency. It's the last remnant of royal power she can wield from the outside. So imagine the tension if Harry were to ditch his royal surname and become, simply, Harry Spencer. The optics? Conflicting. The brand alignment? Completely fractured. Sources close to the couple insist that Meghan would never give up her title voluntarily. But if Harry is truly walking away, where does that leave her? Would she double down on the brand? Or would it expose a growing rift between the two? One built not on personal conflict, but on vastly different visions of identity and power? Now throw Earl Spencer into the mix. At a glance, Harry turning to his late mother's brother seems noble, even therapeutic. But delve deeper into the family dynamics, and things start to look murky. Despite his emotional eulogy, Earl Spencer and Diana were not close near the end of her life. In fact, some say he rejected her plea for refuge when she needed it most. That man is now being framed as Harry's compass. It raises questions and plenty of eyebrows. Is Spencer genuinely trying to help his nephew? Or does he have his own motives? Political, personal, or even vengeful, aimed at the institution he once railed against? Royal insiders aren't buying the heartwarming narrative, especially when this name change saga is viewed alongside Harry's recent BBC interview, where he seemed to cast doubt on his father's future. Once is a misstep, twice is a message. Public opinion in the UK is shifting fast. The sympathy Harry once enjoyed, the prince who lost his mother and walked behind her coffin, is eroding. The tone has changed, and so have the headlines. The growing sentiment? Enough is enough. Calls to formally strip Harry and Meghan of their remaining titles are getting louder. Parliament is under pressure, and even royal loyalists who once urged for unity are beginning to ask, how many more lines can he cross before there's no way back? Meghan's attempts at image control aren't helping. Her podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, was billed as a fresh start, but poor reception, weak downloads, and what critics called tone-deaf branding turned it into a PR flop. Even a last-minute episode featuring Beyoncé's mother couldn't revive interest. It felt more like a desperate play than a bold comeback. And now, the scandal is radiating outward. Brooklyn Beckham and Nicola Peltz, locked in their own high-profile feud with David and Victoria Beckham, have reportedly retained the same legal team used by Harry and Meghan. The message? They're aligning themselves with the Sussexes. But critics weren't impressed. Taking PR tips from Harry and Meghan? One commentator quipped, "Might as well light your brand on fire." What's happening here isn't just personal drama, it's a slow-motion collapse of a carefully constructed image. Ditching the Mountbatten-Windsor name is far from bureaucratic. That name represents centuries of tradition, sacrifice, and royal duty. It was forged in the crucible of history, through war, marriage, scandal, and survival. To abandon it isn't a name change, it's a declaration of independence. A break from everything the monarchy holds sacred. But for Harry, this may be exactly the point. While the average British citizen can change their name with a simple legal filing, Harry cannot. His name carries weight, generational weight. Changing. It is less about paperwork and more about rewriting his place in history. The crown, meanwhile, is at a crossroads. Commentators say King Charles is under unprecedented pressure to act, strip the titles, cut the cords, protect the institution. If he doesn't, the responsibility will fall to Prince William, and the consequences of that could be generational. This whole spectacle didn't have to happen. But now that it has, the stakes are rising. What began as a whisper is now a roar, and the monarchy is listening. Harry says he wants peace, but his actions, from memoirs to media tours to this rumored name change, speak of something far more combative. This isn't reconciliation, it's retaliation. And Meghan, she remains the Duchess. For now, but without Harry's royal ties. How long can that illusion hold? Remove the title, and what remains? An actress without a franchise. A duchess without a duchy. Their children, meanwhile, are caught in the middle, straddling two names, two legacies, and a media firestorm that shows no signs of slowing. The monarchy has weathered its share of storms, but never has a prince set fire to the family legacy with such public, relentless intensity. Harry may think he's honoring Diana, but in the eyes of many, he's weaponizing her memory, not protecting it. And while this saga may still be unfolding, one truth feels undeniable: the crown may forgive, but it will never forget. What do you think? Is this a bold step toward personal freedom, or the most ruthless betrayal yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is a conversation the world needs to have. If this shocked you, imagine. What's coming next? Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us as we uncover the truth they don't want you to hear. Because when it comes to the royals, nothing is ever as it seems.